let's break down the first official portrait of Queen Mary of Denmark. The portrait, which shows the couple wearing the Order of the Elephant on chains, will be displayed in state institutions, including at Danish embassies and consulates worldwide. Taken at Christiansborg Palace in Copenhagen in April, it is the first photo of Australian-born Mary wearing the crown jewels as queen since ascending the throne in January. After more than 5 decades, Queen Margrethe II announced her decision to abdicate in favor of her son during her New Year's Eve address. You can learn more about her and her jewels in her video on this channel. In the portrait, Mary wears an emerald set with a tiara, necklace, earrings, and large brooch. Mary officially made her debut in one of the 4 parures from the Danish crown jewel collection. She wore the tiara, earrings, and necklace from the Danish emerald parure, as well as a modern emerald and diamond ring and upgraded engagement and wedding rings. Her velvet and lace green dress, to set off the emeralds, was custom made. The tiara, necklace, and earrings were designed by jeweler C. M. Weishaupt in 1840, and they were a gift from Christian VIII to Queen Caroline Amalie, according to the royal house. The set's emeralds and diamonds are partly reused items from the jewelry collection of Christian VI's Queen Sophie Magdalene, and from older bracelets combined with newly purchased stones. Queen Sophie Magdalene was Queen of Denmark and Norway by marriage to King Christian VI of Denmark and Norway. Like Queen Mary, she was an outsider to the Danish court and grew up speaking a totally different language. She was born in Bavaria and raised at the court of the Queen of Poland in Saxony. The choice of her jewels reflects Queen Mary's love match with her husband, King Frederik X. King Frederik the Fourth of Denmark allowed his son, Crown Prince Christian, to find a suitable bride. During a trip through Europe, accompanied by Chancellor Ulrich Adolf Holstein, the Crown Prince met Sophie Magdalene while she was serving as lady-in-waiting of the Queen of Poland at Pretzsch Castle. Sophie Magdalene came from a small, insignificant, relatively poor and large German princely family. She had 13 siblings. However, the king recognized the love match and gave the permission to his son to marry. In the crown prince's letters, he wrote he fell for the woman due to her intense religiosity, which matched with his own beliefs. This would affect his later reign. Did Queen Mary relate to this description of Queen Sophie Magdalene? Let's find out. A French envoy to the Danish court sent a description home of the 20-year-old 18th century crown princess. She's a proud, impressive woman, although she has not high growth or of beautiful forms. She's not exactly pretty, but her majestic attitude was notorious. Her skin is very white, her face range is fine, vibrant, and soulful, with light blue eyes. They still-shaped lips crimped sometimes of a sneer. She dressed with the greatest splendor and used a lot of diamonds and other precious stones. She was behind the making of a new Danish queen's crown because she refused to wear the same one that the hated Queen Anna Sophie, whom she called that whore, had worn. Queen Sophie Magdalene established the collection of Danish crown jewels when she bequeathed a large part of her own jewelry for that purpose. This includes the emeralds given to Sophie by King Christian VI upon the birth of the future Frederik V. A number of laws inspired by the strong religious feelings of the royal couple were issued during their reign, including a ban against theater performances and rides on Sundays to hold the Sabbath, and in 1735 introduced public holiday regulation with obligatory church attendance, where breaches of duty resulted in fines or time in jail. She founded at Vallow Castle the Noble Vallow Foundation for Unmarried Daughters in 1737, a home for aging and aristocratic unmarried women, potentially including her German ladies-in-waiting she loved much more than their Danish counterparts. Puritan attitudes at the time were not rare and were a natural snapback from the excesses of the Renaissance. It would be exciting and interesting if the Danish royal family funded Danish nationalist endeavors and started to push back on immigration, as the majority of crime committed in Denmark is by immigrants who constitute only 8% of the entire country's populace. But the royal family was isolated under the reign of Sophie Magdalene. Showing her love and protection of jewelry, Queen Sophie Magdalene owned a lathe, which she used to turn ivory. Both the Queen and King of Denmark wear the Order of the Elephant, which is a Danish order of chivalry and is Denmark's highest ranked honor. It has origins in the 15th century but has officially existed since 1693, and since the establishment of constitutional monarchy in 1849, is now almost exclusively used to honor royalty and heads of state. A Danish religious confraternity called the Fellowship of the Mother of God, limited to about 50 members of the Danish aristocracy, was founded during the reign of Christian I during the 15th century. The badge of the confraternity showed the Virgin Mary holding her son within a crescent moon, surrounded with the rays of the sun, and this was hung from a collar of links in the form of elephants, very similar to the present collar of the order. After the Reformation in 1536, this Christian confraternity died out, but a badge in the form of an elephant with his profile on its right side was still awarded by Frederik II anyway. This latter badge may have been inspired by the badge of the office of the chaplain of the confraternity, which is known to have been in the form of an elephant, to keep the tradition going. The order was instituted in its current form in 1693 by King Christian V, as having only one class consisting of a smaller size, 30 noble knights, in addition to the Grand Master, who would be the king, and his sons. The statutes of the order were amended in 1958 by a royal ordinance so that both men and women could be members, which is why Queen Mary can wear the order today. In this year's portrait, Queen Mary also wears a diamond miniature portrait of the king, her husband, in a bow of Order of Dannebrog ribbon, in keeping with the tradition of female members of the royal family wearing a portrait of the sovereign. Queen Mary is wearing a portrait miniature of her husband for the first time. Previously, she wore her mother-in-law's portrait. This new portrait was painted by a British artist. The diamond frame that surrounds the portrait is also special. Originally made for Empress Amalie of Brazil, who was a sister of Queen Josephina of Sweden and Norway, the diamond frame was brought to Copenhagen by Josephina's granddaughter, Queen Lovisa of Denmark, in the 19th century. Over the years, this particular frame has housed portraits of several monarchs. Queen Alexandrine and Queen Ingrid both wore it with portraits of their spouses, the kings, and more recently, Queen Marguerite II wore the frame with a portrait of her late father. Now, the grand diamond frame has been passed along to Queen Mary, just like the Danish crown jewels. It's important to enjoy the photos because the Danish crown jewels can never leave Denmark.